All right, another week. Here we are. This is actually pretty dope. I just arrived at Skate Charleston, which is this monster skate park in Charleston, South Carolina. I haven't been skateboarding much since like November. So, this may be my last video that I make. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. I spent the last week in Charleston, South Carolina. And been staying with a friend here. Great dude. I haven't seen him in a long time, so it's always nice to catch up with a good friend. The friend I saw a couple weeks ago in North Carolina, he actually got out of the mental hospital this week, a few days ago. So that's cool. And I thought it makes sense for me to... I kind of want to make sure... I mean, like, what are there? There's going to end up being like fucking 50 videos on this damn YouTube tutorial or video blog, whatever. And I don't know if I really hammered home exactly one of the key items here of like, why take a year to go off of fucking medication? You know? Like, what the fuck is going on that it takes a year to go off a medication? And that's sort of the catch-22 that my friend is in. So maybe it's a little bit easier for me to explain the story if I talk about someone else rather than myself. Just because then I won't explain away everything. So here's a person who has some experiences that go on. Call it visions, super extreme experiences, things that he sees or he experiences, whatever it is. And he views it as some sort of a spiritual thing. But regardless of whether it's a spirit, that's not really the point. He never hurts anybody, never harms anybody. This is a non-harmful thing that he goes through. He feels it makes him a better person, that somehow he's gained from it. But regardless, it's non-harmful. He gets taken in to the emergency room. They then hold him against his will, bring him to a mental hospital, and effectively say, like, you cannot fucking get out of this place unless you take this medication that we want you to take. Now, you can fight against it, and you can actually have a hearing with a judge to do medications against will, and then, I mean, you can go through that process. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but it ain't easy just to get out of this place. And in many cases, they say, yeah, you know, you could have a hearing, you might be in here for a fucking month. A lot of times you say, I want to get out of here as fast as humanly possible. Just give me the shit, let me get out of here. Okay, so they have coercive ways of getting you to take medication. They could, sometimes they sort of lie to you. Like, I remember when I was in there and they'd be like, oh, you know, it's not a big deal. It's just a salt. You know, lithium, for example. It's just a salt. It's no big deal. Or, you know, it's going to help you. They try different things. So sometimes they'll say, like, you really need this. You're going to get worse. Your future's going to be horrible. The only thing that's going to save you is this medication. Sometimes they say, oh, it's no big deal. It's just a little thing that's going to help you. It's subtle, no big deal. Just a salt. Just take this. Or let's say, you know, look at the trauma that you're putting your family through. Look at what's happening to them. Do you really want to do this to those people? Yeah, so they got different ways to get you to go on this medication. And then you get out. And now with some medications, they can actually do a blood test to see if you've been taking it or not. I'm not taking any of that shit anymore. I'm not. Lithium's the one that they could do that with. But in general now, if you decide to go off of your medication, this is the catch. The side effects of withdrawal from the medication can actually be the very symptoms of which they are giving you the medication for. So if you're having some sort of hallucinations, hearing voices, going off medication can cause these to come on. If you're having extreme states, mania, depression, going off medication can cause that to happen. If you're feeling suicidal, that kind of thing, going off the medication can cause that to happen. So the withdrawal symptoms could cause you to experience symptoms which could land you back in an emergency room. And then now all of a sudden you're in the emergency room, mental hospital, and now they know you've gone off your medication and you've been what they say called non-compliant. So now because you've been non-compliant, now all of a sudden you're a problem child. You're a troublemaker. In some cases, it's not a huge, it's a big deal. Now when you're in the hospital, they might keep you there longer. The process might take longer. But what really becomes fucked up is now all of a sudden there's the criminal element. So let's say that you do something that is viewed as a crime. It could be trespassing. Let's just say that you're fucking seeing visions, you wander into somebody's property, and they start yelling at you to get off the property, and you get confused, you know what's going on, and they start getting in your face, yelling at you, and you're fucking lost and confused, and someone's yelling at you, and they put their hands on you, who knows? Some sort of criminal aspect comes in. Maybe you decide that this whole facade of wearing clothes is kind of stupid, and you feel like taking your clothes off and fucking walking down the street. Crime. Maybe you're at a fucking bar and you're in a real distressful mode and you're sitting there and, they tell you to move and get up and leave and you say, I'm not fucking moving. You can't tell me what to do. And then they grab you and start fucking dragging you across the parking lot and the police see you and they run over thinking you've done something horrible and they grab you and fucking throw you around and whoop your ass and they need to come up with something, so they say disorderly conduct or resisting arrest, right? So whatever it might be, if there's some criminal aspect of it, again, it could be something as simple as trespassing, right? Well, now you've been charged with a crime and you got a psychiatric diagnosis, which they would present has been caused by you being non-compliant with your medications, which is saying that you have now caused this thing to happen and you're non-compliant. So now you're a criminal who's not complying with the medications that they believe are the only thing that can help you. And so now they can do whatever the fuck they want with you. They could send you to jail because, in my case, when I've had trouble, I've had a doctor who's been able to say, hey, this guy's under my watch. Jim does what I tell him. He is a compliant patient. And so the court trusts me to go out into the world. But in the case that you are non-compliant, you just get one fucking news story every year about a fucking mentally ill person who shoots up a movie theater or something. You just need one of those a year and all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, we've got a non-compliant psychiatric patient. Can we send him out into the world? Can we let this guy out there? No, maybe we got to lock him up in a fucking mental hospital or lock him up in jail, or in some situations, I know some people who have had medication forced on them outside of a hospital, either where they come to your home and make you take it, or more common, you have to check in every single day at a center and go and take your medication in front of them and do a daily check-in, and if you don't show up, you're going to fucking jail or mental hospital. So therein is part of the reason why I'm doing this over the course of a year. One is because I need a doctor to say that, Jim, it's okay for you to go off your medication. So if something goes wrong, I'm a compliant patient. I'm a good boy. Also, going off it slowly prevents some of these side effects, some of these things from acting up. So it's a combination of, I don't want to... Okay, so I got a little bit disrupted there, but I want to make sure that I don't have the side effects and go, get manic or psychosis or something that's blown out of proportion. And I also need a doctor to be able to say, if something went wrong, Jim's been following the regimen I have him on. And then I guess number 3 is that, this is my first time trying to go off all my meds. I don't want it to go wrong and then fuck it up, and then all of a sudden now I'm stuck on the fucking things for a lot longer. Or the doctor wants me to stay on them. Who knows? I look at it that I've been on these fucking things for 10 years. If it takes a year to get off them, fine, as long as I'm fucking off them, as opposed to rushing it. And what if now I'm on them for another few years, or God only knows what. So that's it. Little long video, but that explains the drama. Not sure where I'm going next. I know I'm leaving South Carolina Sunday. Not sure where the next destination is. But things are pretty good, steady. I'm eating well. Eating lots of trail mix and granola and fruit and raw veggies. Broccoli's pretty good. So, it's working out, saving money. Didn't work that much this week. Not as much as I maybe should have, but that's good. That's enough.